So this is a test in preparation for what's coming in just a couple of days, 4 or 5 days to be exact. I will be painting every stage of the Tour de France. Each day I will also share one painting on this, shooting a video like I am now. What I hope to do with this is to both talk about how I paint these and how the paintings play into the tour and what's happening in the Tour de France. So I'm using actually the promo video from NBC Sports. I'll be using NBC Sports' online broadcast. So if you want to watch that, that's NBC Gold, NBC Sports Gold. So this is the battle, I think it was last year's battle. Certainly the jerseys are appropriate, between Froome and Nairo Quintana, who both will be racing. Froome was just approved to race the race. I have opinions about that. Froome is coming in trying to tie the most wins, most recognized wins. We can talk about Lance Armstrong later. So my first step in doing these pieces, and these will all be watercolors and ink, as you can see, is to lay out the line work. And this is done with, I'm using Faber-Castell pens. I've tried, like traditional pen and ink, India ink has a drying time. And with the drying time, the way I do this is painting so many paintings, I can't wait for the ink to dry because I'm really trying to do this live as the events are happening. Actually sharing the paintings shortly after the end of each stage. And I'll be doing that here as well. So that's the line work. So then the next step is to lay in color. And with watercolor, because it's a translucent medium, you really need to work light to dark. So with this particular painting, Froome, who went on to win the race, is wearing yellow. And certainly yellow is going to be the lightest color in the palette of this painting. What I always enjoy is all of the garb that everybody wears along the fans behind, along the barriers in this case. Many other times they're not in barriers. I'm going to run out of power on this phone, so shoot. Oh well, so this is the test. This gives you an idea of what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to pause this. Okay, so back at it. Sorry about that. So again, so you're laying in now the flesh tones of the riders. It does amuse me that during the course of racing, the riders will get darker and darker tans. Something I hadn't really started noticing until I started painting these races. You know, that's the thing about making art, is it forces you to observe, and you see things that you wouldn't necessarily have noticed otherwise. Now, Nairo is a Colombian rider. I'm quite convinced he's a descendant of the Inca warriors. Small, compact, and incredibly strong. One of the great climbers. And Colombia has a tradition of great climbers. And so as you can see, I'm sort of moving my way through the color wheel as I do this. So first laying in all the warm colors, and then I'll move on. Now in this case, each of these two riders, Nairo is wearing the white jersey of Best Young Rider, and that's riders who are under the age of, I think it's 23, by the start of that year's racing. And then of course Froome is in the iconic yellow, or maillot jaune, yellow jersey, or jersey yellow, I guess. It's the literal translation. Of race leader at this point. And this, of course, is one of the 5 races, one of the 5 tours he went on to race. So their kit will be a little different than their teammates because they're wearing a white jersey and a yellow jersey, of course. Now the thing with watercoloring is if you make a mistake, you either start over or you live with it. So if you see right there, I made a slight little mistake with the green. And I'm clearly going to choose to just live with that. And that's actually part of what makes the painting a little more interesting. So the way I will be doing this is, again, watching the racing live as it's playing out. And then as I see an image that appeals to me, I'll pause it. And that image can appeal to me for any number of different reasons. Graphically interesting, like this. Or also like this painting. It tells the story of this particularly mano a mano, that's the title of the painting, moment in the tour where these 2 contenders were fighting it out on one of the final mountain stages. And the mountains are where the riders can really gain the most advantage on their adversaries. Bigger time gaps are available, bigger chance to split the race apart. Now one thing, so Team Sky wears black kit, black shorts. Most cyclists actually wear black cycling shorts, kind of an old tradition. But for me, when painting, you never want to use a true black. So what I just mixed there was alizarin crimson with a deep green, and that's how I get my blacks. And they're just a little more alive. They eat less of a hole in the canvas. So and then there's also with watercolor, you want to lay out. It's like to soften this and to give it a little more street texture, I just used the water on the brush because I already had it dirty. Dirty's the right word. From the dark of the shorts. So just a little bit of shadow here. Excuse me. And that piece is done. So there you are. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Whoops, I just noticed something I didn't do. The rest of the Team Sky logo on his yellow jersey. This is what I'll be doing each day starting on July 7th. I hope you'll come back and check it out. Thank you.